Hello dear students, today we will be concluding the recapitulation of the chapter Writing and City Life, and today we will discuss about the ziggurats, the sacred temples of Mesopotamia. Then we will revise about the seals of Mesopotamia, and a quick revision for the tablets of Mesopotamia will be done. So starting up with the ziggurats, the sacred temples in Mesopotamia, as we have already learned, were called ziggurats, and they were generally built upon on artificial mound, which you can look at the picture and can understand, raised in the middle of the town. So these were multi-story buildings where the upper floor was successively smaller than the lower ones. And these temples used to be so high that one could see them from quite a distance. We can take the example of the temple of Ur, which was the famous ziggurats of the moon god Nannar. So if you can see the picture right here, you can understand that temples were very, very high, and from a very far distance they were visible. Now, children, you also have to understand that these temples were not mere the places of worship. These temples, we have learned, that were also used as a place for storage. Trading used to take place, many interactions used to happen here. Almost from 5000 BCE in the southern Mesopotamia, settlers, they began to build and rebuild temples for worship. And at selected sites, small shrines of unbaked bricks in the initial stages were the houses for the god. And people used to bring grain, curd, fish to offer to these gods or goddesses. And theoretically, the owner of the agricultural fields or fishes and herds were all these god and goddesses. But in time, temples became not only the focus of ritual and worship, but nucleus around which city developed. We have discussed about the ziggurats of Ur and Uruk. They contained warehouses, workshops, living quarters for the artisans even. And the grain of warehouses was used to procure raw materials, for example, copper, and then it was also used to feed the artisans. In the early Mesopotamian countryside was riddled with repeated conflicts over land and water. But temples played a very, very vital role in organizing the irrigation facilities, allocation of water, and maintenance of these facilities, so essential for agriculture, and not only that, for surplus produce, strengthened the authority of temples. It was all reached out by the people of temple. While priests had access to sizable produce in the form of offerings, they became points of collection, as I said, even point of storage and even redistribution. These all used to happen from these temples. The power and the influence of temple was demonstrated in its structure. For example, if you take the temple of Uruk, built in the shape of a pyramid, which we call a ziggurat, dominated the skyline. And victorious chiefs offered precious booties to gods, and they also offered to beautify the community temples. Many poems have been written on these temples which glorify the status of the king as well as the temple. Now, coming up to the seals of Mesopotamia, during the excavation of Uruk sites, it has been brought to light that a large number of seals were excavated. And from there we came to know that there are two types of seals. One is a stamped seal and another is a cylindrical seal. So originally rectangular stamped seals were made, and they most probably served to indicate ownership of goods. And these were followed by cylindrical seals, which you can see in the pictures right now, made up of ordinary or semi-precious stones. These were pierced down the center, and from this center part, it was fitted up with a stick which could be rolled down over the wet clay. So that is a continuous, when you roll it down, it used to, imprint a continuous picture of the seal. So these cylindrical seals are carved by very, very skilled craftsmen. If you can see the picture, you can understand that intrinsic crafting is there, and artistically of a very high standard. Many of them depict even mythological figures or scenes from everyday life. And in this way, seals were very, very important for the people of Mesopotamia. And those seals which have been excavated, they are a rich source of history for us to understand the civilization. Coming up to the tablets of Mesopotamia, clay tablets, or because the clay tablets were the written records which occur by the hundreds at Mesopotamian sites when the study, archaeological remains were found, and inside the buildings of Mesopotamia, statues, ornaments, graves, tools, seals, and from these tablets, we come to know that trade transactions, how it used to happen within or with the outside world. For many tablets has got a delivery of piece of metal. It has been found, and tablets also help us to understand land transfer deeds of kings, changes made in customary laws of the land. If you read the Hammurabi Code of Law, which is a law for the land, it shows that how the deeds were made, how Sumerians, the early language, was replaced by Akkadian. Above all, these tablets, they also help us understand development of script, that is, writing from pictograph to the cuneiform script. Slowly, when the excavation took place, it was made clear. And these tablets also help us in how much Mesopotamians valued city lives. Gilgamesh epic, when we have read, which was written on 12 tablets, our knowledge of legacy of Mesopotamian civilization, not only in the literature but also in science, mathematics, astronomy, it has been possible to come to know only with the help of these written documents, or you can say tablets. Moreover, they help scholars to understand development of ideas, spread of education and communication skills in Mesopotamia. So in this way, ziggurats, a very, very important feature of Mesopotamia, a rich source of knowledge, and seals and the tablets, they give us a vast impression about the Mesopotamian civilization. So in this way, we are concluding this chapter and we are getting over with the recapitulation of writing and city life. Thank you so much, children.